All right, here we go. This video is for Learning Target 4, day 1 of the Learning Target 4 here. We're going to spend 3 days on this, starting on page 17. Go ahead and turn to page 17. Our learning target is, I can write an equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, given 2 of the 3 parts, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about what is slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, okay? And there are 3 parts to our y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form here. The first part is our slope. The m represents the slope, okay? That is always the number that's being multiplied to the variable x. Our second part is our b, which is our y-intercept. This is the number where our line intercepts the y-axis. And our third part is our x and y here. Oops, I wanted blue here. Our x and y. And that would be our ordered pair. Okay? This is our ordered pair. In other words, a line has infinite number of ordered pairs. Okay? Bunch to choose from. So 3 parts. So what we're going to be able to do today is we're going to be able to write an equation in slope-intercept form given 2 of the 3 parts. Okay, you have to solve for the third part. So let's start off with some simple stuff. Let's write an equation given the m and b. So if I gave you the slope and I gave you the y-intercept, the m and the b, you should be able to write an equation. There's only one rule to follow, one step here, and that would be all you have to do is substitute the m and the b into the correct spots of the equation. So if I give you the m, you put the m where the m goes. If I give you the b, you put the b where the b goes, and you've got an equation. The x and y stay variables x and y, because remember, those are always changing. So if I told you the slope was 7 and the y-intercept is 4, I know the 7 is the m because that's the slope, and the y-intercept, which is 4, which is the b, I'm going to go ahead and do y equals 7x plus 4. There's my equation. Has a slope of 7, has a y-intercept of 4. Likewise, next one, if I give you a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of -5, what's the equation of this line? It's going to be y equals -3x plus -5. Or you can write y equals -3x minus 5. Same thing. Last one, slope is 0, y-intercept is 4, so y equals mx plus b, y equals 0x plus 4. Well, 0 times x we know is 0. 0 times any number is 0, so really if we wanted to, we could shortcut this and just write y equals 4. That's the same thing. Okay, so that's the easy part. If I give you the m and b, you should be able to write me an equation. Second part, how do you write an equation if I were to give you just the graph? Okay, you're going to get graphs, and I'm going to ask you, can you write an equation of the line? Here are your 4 steps for this. Your first step is to find the slope first. Find the m of the y equals mx plus b. Now, sometimes on the graph you can count it. You can also use the slope formula if you want to use that to calculate the slope. Second step, you're going to find the y-intercept, which means if you can find the y-intercept, you have found the b. Okay, so you're getting that much closer to be able to write an equation. Now, the key to this is sometimes the y-intercept is given in an ordered pair. Now, that's easy to tell. Anytime you see where the x is 0 in an ordered pair, that y number that's in that ordered pair is your y-intercept. Okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we look through the examples. Third step, you're going to substitute the m and the b into the equation y equals mx plus b, just like what we did. So put the m that you found in the m spot, put the b in the b spot. And then fourth step, you can always check your own equation to make sure that it actually works. Check your equation to see if it works. So let's go ahead and give a few of these a try. So we have a graph here, and you can see the line, and I want you to write an equation of the line. Okay? So what I like to do here to organize my work, I'm going to write the 2 pieces that I'm actually looking for, my m and my b. Once I can find these 2 things, very easy to write an equation. So let's do the slope first. Because we're on a graph here, everything's going by ones, let's just count rise over run. So I'm going to go from this point to this point. Rise 1, 2. So my rise is 2. And then it looks like I'm going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 over negative 4, which is reduced to 1 over negative 2. So it's a negative slope here. My b here is my y-intercept. Now notice the y-intercept is the up and down axes. Okay, and what I'm going to look for is where does this line cross the y-axis? Well, it's right here. And it's actually labeled 0, 1. Remember we had just talked about this? Wherever the x is 0, that next number, the y, is actually your y-intercept. So you can tell, even just by looking at the graph visually, 0, 1, it crosses at 1. You can also see that it's also labeled. So my y-intercept is 1. So now that I have my m and b, I'm just going to go ahead and plug it into y equals mx plus b. So my equation is y equals m, there's my m, x plus my b, which is 1. And there's the equation for that line. Now, how do you check this? How do you make sure that this equation actually works? Well, on this graph, there's 2 ordered pairs that are labeled. So in this ordered pair, you know that the 0, 1, that's your x and y. This 4, negative 1, this is also an x and y. Remember, that's the third part of y equals mx plus b. Well, both of these ordered pairs, if I plug them into my equation, they should work. They should be a solution to the equation. So let's give it a try. So this first ordered pair, 0, 1, if this is my x, this is my y, if I put in a 0 into the x, do the math, does the y equal out to be a 1? Well, you can just do this in your calculator, or if it's easy math, just do mental math. Negative half times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 does equal 1. So this number checks. Let's try the ordered pair for negative 1. That's the second ordered pair that's on here. So my x is 4. Do the math. This should come out to be negative 1. Negative 1/2 times 4 in a calculator, if you do that, if you don't know how to do fractions, is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 does equal negative 1. So this ordered pair also checks. Okay? Let's give another one a try. Next graph. We have an m and our b here. Okay? Let's go ahead. Let's find our slope first. Let's just count slope. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So our slope is 4 over 3. Our b here, here's our y-intercept, up and down. It's always the up and down axes here. You can see it crosses right here. You can even see it's labeled. The x is 0. Here's the y. That's the y-intercept, negative 5. It crosses at negative 5. And you can start from the origin, count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. Final equation, y equals mx plus b. Y equals 4/3 x plus negative 5. And there's your equation, just like that. And you can go ahead and give these ordered pairs a check. Let's check 3, negative 1. Here's your x, here's your y. If I put in a 3 for the x, this should equal out to be negative 1. 4/3 times 3 is actually 4, and then 4 plus negative 5 is negative 1. So it works. You can go ahead and try the other ordered pair and see if it works. Okay? Some different types of examples. Write an equation given. Now this time there's no graph. Now I'm only going to give you 2 ordered pairs, 2 points. So I have 2 ordered pairs here, and I want to know what's the equation of a line that goes through these 2 ordered pairs. Well, we could take out graph paper and graph them, but that would be a waste of time because we should know how to do this mathematically. So it's still the same steps. We're still going to find the m and the b. Okay? So m, we should know the slope formula. This is where we have to use a formula. We can't count rise over run. So let's do slope here. So y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. Let's do our slope. 2 over negative 5. Our b here, now, because we can't see it, but remember the hint I gave you. In the hint, wherever you see an ordered pair, where the x is 0, you know that the y pair, the y number in that pair is actually your y-intercept. So here's our 0 for our x. Here's our y-intercept. So our b here is 3. Okay, just like what we saw up here. Remember our y-intercept right here was 1 because the x was 0. Remember our y-intercept here was negative 5 because the x was 0. So same thing here. The x is 0, y-intercept is 3. So final equation, y equals mx plus b, so y equals negative 2/5 x plus 3. And then you can go and give it a try. Let's try 5, 1. I always try an ordered pair that doesn't have a 0 in it, just because sometimes 0 works and it's not supposed to. So if I put in a 5 in for the x, because this is our x, if I do the math, it should come out to be a 1. So negative 2/5 times 5 does equal negative 2. Negative 2 plus 3 does equal 1. So it checks out. There's our final equation. Okay, let's give this fourth one a try here. Different kind of problem, but same idea. Fourth one says, write an equation for the linear function f with the values f of 0 equals 5 and f of 4 equals 17. So this actually goes back to function notation, okay, a lesson or two ago. Now remember we talked about function notation. F of x is the same thing as y. So understanding this part right here, if you match this up, if we look here, we have f of 0 equals 5. So I know that the number that's inside the parentheses by the function's name f, this is my x, and the 5 here equals the 5 equals the y. This is my y. So in this one, I have my x is 4, and my 17 is the y. So in other words, I have two ordered pairs here. The first ordered pair is x, y, 0, 5, and my other ordered pair is 4 is the x, y is 17, so I'm going to have the ordered pair 4, 17. And now I have a problem that looks exactly like the one that we just did. Okay, it's just worded in function notation language. So let's go ahead and calculate the slope then of our two ordered pairs that are given in our problem. So I'm going to do y1 minus y2. I'm going to do 17 minus 5 over 4 minus 0. 17 minus 5 is 12 over 4, and it looks like 12 over 4, our slope is 3. So our m is 3. Okay, our b in this case then, remember we just talked about our hint. Wherever there's an ordered pair where the x is 0, our y-intercept is the number that is paired with the x of 0. So our y-intercept here is 5 because of this x equals 0. So I have my m and my b. Final equation is y equals mx plus b, so 3x plus 5. Give it a check. Let's check our 417 here. If I put in a 4 for my x, a 17 should calculate for the y. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 5 does equal 17. So we have an equation. Y equals 3x plus 5 is the equation for this linear function, given these values. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the page. And let's look at a different type of problem now. Still y equals mx plus b. So these three equations, these three examples is, how do you write an equation given now the slope? So I'm going to give you the slope now, and I'm going to give you an ordered pair. So in other words, you're going to be looking for the b. The b is not going to be given to you this time. In the previous four problems, the b was given to you. So let's take a look at our 4 steps here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take what's given. So you're going to substitute that m and the x and y into y equals mx plus b. In other words, the parts I'm giving you are the m, the x, and the y. You just have to put them in the right spots of y equals mx plus b. And this time you're going to be solving for b. You're going to actually be looking for the b. So second step is you're going to use your lovely inverse operations, which is SADMAP, and you're going to solve for b. Okay, so you want to get everything over to the left side so b stands alone. Step 3 then, once you found your b, you're going to take your m that was given to you already, and you're going to take your newly found b that you solved for, and you're going to plug them into the equation y equals mx plus b. So you're going to plug in the m where the m goes and the b where the b goes, and you'll have an equation. Last step, go check your equation to make sure that it works. Okay, so let's take a look. First example, write an equation of a line that passes through the ordered pair -1, 3, and has a slope of -4. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to teach you a way to organize your work here, is I'm going to have you write the 3 parts of y equals mx plus b down into a key here. So in other words, m, the b, and we have the ordered pair. And in this way, you can actually fill in what you already know, and then you can figure out the parts you don't know. So we know that the m here, it says slope is -4. We don't know our b. It doesn't tell us where it starts, and we can tell our ordered pair the x isn't 0, so the 3 is not our y-intercept. So I'm going to put a box here, which means that this is what we have to find. X and y, well, an ordered pair is given. Here's our ordered pair. That would be our -1 and 3. So I know the -1 is my x, the 3 is my y. Okay? So what I'm looking for is my b. So I'm going to take my y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to plug in all these known numbers into y equals mx plus b. So my y here is the 3, because it's my y. My m here is -4. I'm going to put a -4, times my x is my -1, plus my b. My b is unknown, so I'm going to keep it as plus b. I'm going to go and simplify here. 3 is going to stay the same. -4 times -1 is a +4, and I still have a plus b. Now I want to get this b by itself, and I have a +4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this +4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. So the 4's cancel out. My b drops down. 3 minus 4 is -1. So now I have my b, which is -1. So now that I have my m is -4, my b is -1, I just did steps 1 and 2. Now I'm going to substitute my m and b into y equals mx plus b. So my final equation is y equals m, which is -4, x plus -1. And there's my equation. Okay, step 4 here, let's make sure it actually works. Let's take our ordered pair, the only ordered pair that's given to us, and make sure if I put in a -1 for my x, it should calculate out to be a 3. So we can just do mental math. -4 times -1 is 4. 4 plus -1 does equal 3. So it does check out. So final answer here then, you would just be left with y equals -4x plus -1. Okay? Example 2. And if you think you have a hang of this, go ahead and pause this, give example 2 and example 3, the you try problem, give it a shot, and then check back and see if you got your answers right by listening to the rest of this video. Okay, second one. Let's go ahead and look at this. Write an equation of a line that passes through the point 3, 5 and has a slope of 2/3. So I'm going to write my 3 parts down, m, b, x, and y. My m here is 2/3. My b here doesn't look like it's given, doesn't say where it goes to the y-intercept, but my ordered pair here is 3, 5. And let's go ahead and take our y equals mx plus b, plug in the right numbers in the right spots. Y is our 5, m is our 2/3, times our x, which is our 3, plus our unknown b here. Let's do the math. 2/3 times 3, so I'm going to make this a fraction, so it looks like the 3's cancel out, so 2/1 is 2. And if you need a calculator, use a calculator to do fractions, okay? I had 2 plus b, undo this +2, I'm going to minus 2, we're going to get b equals 5 minus 2 is 3. So let's put this together in the equation. Y equals mx plus b. Here's our equation. Let's make sure it actually works. So 3 and 5. If I put in a 3 for my x, a 5 in for my y, 2/3 times 3 is 2. 2 plus 3 does equal 5. So my final answer, 2/3 x plus 3, all of it equals y. That's my final equation. Okay, last one. And again, I encourage you to pause this, give it a try, and then check back. Okay, you gave that last one a try. You can go ahead and check your answer, the final answer, with all the work. So see if your work matches. See if you didn't get this answer, you can check through your work and see where you made your error. The final answer for this equation that passes through the point 1, 4 and has a slope of 5 is y equals 5x plus -1. So the m was given 5. You need to take the information and actually find the b, which was -1. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. Make sure you're pausing and asking questions along the way if you still don't get. I'm going to close with a summary here. First summary here is there are 3 parts to y equals mx plus b. And this little table here is going to help you organize. Here are the 3 parts. The m is the slope. Pen. The m is the slope. Keep that in mind. Remember, the b is the y-intercept. And then you got your x and your y. They're just backwards here. You just have to remember the x comes first and the y comes second is your ordered pair. Okay, so given 2 of the 3 parts, you should be able to find the missing part, which is the second summary here. If you have 2 of any of the 3 parts in this y equals mx plus b, you can write an equation. All right, go ahead and flip to your classwork, page 19 and 20. Give a few a try here. Check back at your answers. This stuff just takes practice, and it gets easier and easier. It's like a puzzle, and solve for the missing variable. Good luck.